Hi, and welcome to the Tea with Intuitives podcast. I'm Brittany, an esoteric healer and spiritual life coach.
And I'm Meli, an Akashic reader, past life psychic, and channeling coach. Each episode, we answer one of your questions about spirituality, the Akashic Records, energy healing, meditation, spirit guides, and the unseen world.
So we invite you to grab your cup of tea while we answer today's question. What do you wish others knew before opening their Akashic Records? But first, Meli, what tea are you drinking today?
I am drinking a green Chinese tea. And so if we have any Chinese listeners, I'm very sorry for my accent. It is called Du Yun Mao Jian.
Oh.
Yes. And it's a green Chinese tea. It says it must be brewed at 85 degrees Celsius. So there we go. Another podcast episodes where I say things in Celsius.
85 degrees Celsius. That must be like, I don't know. If what did you say? It's 31 and that was 87. So
Right.
maybe it's like 200 degrees or
I'm
something.
typing it 85 Celsius.
We'll guess at the start of each podcast.
2 Fahrenheit. It is 185 Fahrenheit.
I said 200. I was pretty close.
You were close, but at what temperature does water boil in Fahrenheit?
135?
Okay. Yeah, because for us, like it's 100, it's boiling, and under zero, it's freezing. So it's very simple.
Okay, well, now I have to look it up. No, what temperature does water boil? It boils at 212 Fahrenheit.
212. That's complicated. I think there are only 3 countries in the world still using Fahrenheit, and that must be why.
The US uses measuring systems that no one else uses, so.
Yeah, I think it's the fear of change there are a lot of young souls, and there's a fear of change. I know in the US you still have pennies, and we got rid of that. They are useless. They just cost money to produce. So when I go to the US, I'm like, oh, tiny pennies, yay. I think they still have it in the UK, though. Maybe they changed since I went there. But if we have any listeners from the UK, please let us know if you still have pennies.
Which is, yeah, 1 cent does not go far anyway. But everyone would have to change their pricing. The whole thing about not having pennies is the whole tax system would have to change. Well,
you know what they did in Canada is that they didn't change the prices. So if if a product is $12.87, for example, I think they rounded up to the lowest price if you want to pay in cash. But who pays in cash anymore?
Oh, so then they would lower it down to like $12.85, like a 5 cent.
Right. But since pretty much everyone pays with cards, they just keep it $12.87. That's what you pay.
Yeah, we should do that. I had to write a paper on this when I was in 11th grade in high school.
Really?
The prompt in my writing class, like this testing prompt, was give your best argument as to why we should get rid of the penny or keep the penny.
Wow. So, that
was 10 years ago.
Wow. So it was a modern discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. So I guess it probably will come maybe in the next 10 years. You'll get rid of the pennies for real.
Maybe, probably not.
Yeah.
We don't like change.
Yeah. And at this
Get it? Change.
Oh, but at this point, everyone's paying by card. So I understand that it's less an issue. I think in Canada, we got rid of them in 2013.
Oh, that's when I had my prompts. That's probably why we had a writing prompt, because
there you go.
Because Canada was doing that, and they were like, this would be a great writing prompt.
Yes. Oh my God. How old were you?
In 2013?
Yeah.
I was almost
18.
At this point, exactly 10 years ago, I was 18.
Yeah. Oh my God. I had Rosalie. She was 2.
Oh,
Yeah, it's so hard to believe that we're not the same age. It so doesn't feel like it.
age is but a number.
Yes, so
I
true.
think a podcast episode about technology because we did the chat GBT thing.
Yeah.
And I think doing another episode would be fun about technology and spirituality in general.
Hmm.
Because we're on the subject of how people are paying, which is with card. And I just saw this video about somewhere, it was probably China or somewhere, maybe Korea, where they had something implanted in their wrist and they were paying with their wrist, and that's wild to me.
Yeah.
Would you ever put a chip in your arm to pay for things?
No, no. And I know spirit guides are saying like the AirPods that I'm wearing all the time, they're saying it's not good for you. All the waves,
Oh,
it's not
yeah.
good for you, but I keep doing it anyways because I find them so convenient. But no, I wouldn't want something electronic. And with all the scams and the everyone's listening to us right now on our phones and on everything,
Mhm.
like corporations, governments are listening to us. And so I'm like, if you have a chip on top of that, that's a lot. Anyways, but as you say, it's another conversation, but it's so interesting. For sure I have something to say on this because it pops up in Akashic readings that I do for other people and how some souls are just fascinating by technology. And I just read for someone yesterday. She's a super, super old soul and she's been incarnating on earth for so long that she was like, now I want to try everything about technology and how to do good with technology because it's something new for her to experiment when she comes on earth.
Yeah, a lot of our star seeds, they are so into technology. I mean, people who go into tech or um, writing code for these big companies, those are a lot of our star seeds, even if they don't know it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, I forget where we are. The
Yeah, we're
question,
supposed to talk about the Akashic Records. What's the question again?
what do you wish others knew before opening their Akashic records? And remind me what tea you are drinking. That was the green tea.
I said it. Oh, yeah. You tell me
Yes.
what tea you are drinking.
I just have some peach tea
Okay.
and it's really good. It would be really, really good iced, actually.
Wow.
Yeah.
And in the previous podcast, you were drinking passion fruit tea. Was it good?
Passion fruit green tea. It was good.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I
Okay.
recommend.
Yay.
I recommend to ice these teas though. I put some
Yes,
ice in that.
I agree. When they're fruity, it's really good when they're iced.
In the summer. That's gonna be my motto. Put some ice in that.
Yes.
Put some ice
Um,
in. Well,
okay.
what do you wish others knew before opening their Akashic records?
I would say one of the big, big questions that I have two big questions that people ask me. First, they ask me if it is secure, if they can do it by themselves. So, first of all, yes, it is secure. You need to make sure that you are using an entry prayer that has been channeled by a legit psychic, I would say. And there are a lot of powers in words. So through that prayer, through the words that you are saying, this is protecting you. So just with that, that is a huge protection that you have. Plus, also you need to make sure that like in any type of channeling, that your intentions are good, you have high vibrations. If you are tired, feeling low, depressed, that might not be the best idea to go into your records. If you're really feeling bottom of the barrel, sometimes it's just better to have someone else do it for you. Because if you're at the bottom of the barrel, then I understand that you need some guidance. So so that would be my first answer. And by the way, I launched an Akashic Records course in July, and I teach all of that, how to raise your vibrations, access your soul star chakra, like everything you need to know to feel super comfortable in reaching your records, feeling secure, feeling like you know what you're doing and you're feeling good. And there's lots of fun actually in going into your Akashic records. I feel so honored and privileged every time I go into mine or somebody else's records. And so when people ask me if they can read their records by themselves, of course, my answer is yes, because I have the course out to teach them how to do it. Everyone can learn how to read their records. Everyone can learn how to channel, because we are all connected to the source of life. So we all have that connection with the spirit world, with the divine. It's all a matter of being aware of it and activating this part of us. And so everyone can do it. If you are being told that it's for a specific VIP groups, I would say be very wary of the people who are telling you that. Everyone that wants to keep you outside of it, wants to keep you in fear, you should be very wary of these people.
Yeah, that's a great point. Beautifully said. I will also add that there's a lot of controversy around if we should be opening our own Akashic records in general. And that was one thing that came up when I started reading the Akashic records. I also read pushback for opening them. And the beautiful thing is, if we were not supposed to have access to the Akashic records, we simply wouldn't. I'm a firm believer that we wouldn't even have access to the knowledge or the existence that the Akashic records are real and exist and are accessible. We wouldn't even know that if the divine plan was for us simply to not access them. It's almost like, I feel like my guides are showing this in my head right now. You tell a little kid, don't press the red button. The only thing they're going to think about is pressing the red button. So when you tell very curious beings who want to experience and explore everything that is can ever be possible, us humans, we want to explore anything and everything. Don't access your Akashic records. The one thing that they're going to strive to do, right? It's going to be accessing the Akashic records. So we simply would not have them in our knowledge base and our awareness if we weren't supposed to access them. That's where my opinion lies on that. And the other thing that I thought of was some other in the community, some others who read the Akashic records may think you either should go into the records when you are at your highest vibratory state. Sure, that's probably when you'll channel really well. The other thought is you shouldn't go into your Akashic records if you have low vibration. From my experience, having entered my own Akashic records in a deep depression where I was very low, I was very, very low. My heart was super depleted. When I entered the Akashic records, it held me like a mother would hold their child. The Akashic records healed me because the vibration is it's such a high frequency. The vibration of the Akashic records is so strong that my belief is no matter what vibration you are when you enter the Akashic records, you are going to receive a healing. You're going to receive something in return. In my own experience, the Akashic records vibrate at such a high frequency that it will alchemize and purify any frequency that comes within it. And that's where we have this knowledge of fear. That's where the fear can be dissipated. That's where the past life trauma, that's why we can heal past life trauma in Akashic record reading, because anything that gets pulled up into the Akashic records gets alchemized, gets cleared, and allows us to be free of that fear or that trauma, because the records are such a high vibratory space. That's my own opinion. And I think that that's why people are so drawn to the energy of the Akashic Records, right? It's like, don't press the red button, but if you do press the red button, you can heal generations of trauma.
Yeah.
Right. It's I just so those are my thoughts around the Akashic Records. And just know that if you're ready to open your own records, you're going to meet opposing opinions about what they are, how they work, where they come from, how you should be when you go into your Akashic Records. And I think at the end of the day, only you know yourself well enough to know if it's time to go into your Akashic Records, when and where or how. That is totally up to you to navigate. But yeah.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that nuance. I would like to piggyback on what you said about entering the Akashic Records when you are at a very low point, because it's true, like I said before, you can ask someone else to do a reading for you, because if you're at a low point, you might not channel a lot.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing that is beautiful, and I teach it in my Akashic Records class, is that you can just go into your records and don't do anything first, just really revel into that beautiful energy. And you can simply tell your spirit guides, I'm feeling super low. There is this, and that in my life. And ask for, I call it a light healing, because when I'm in my records, this is how I see it. I really see, depending on what I'm going through, they are sending light to me in different colors, depending on what I need. I see them all around me. So I teach that you can simply ask them to send you the energy that you need to heal. Because sometimes our brains are like, do I really want to go and look at a past life? When you are depressed, everything seems like so much work. So you can just go into your records, do nothing, and ask for healing, and trust that the best spirit guide will come through with the best healing for you, because they know exactly what to give you. Mm-hmm. And also in the Akashic Records, there are the lords of the Akashic Records who you never see, but they decide what information is going to be passed on to you. So everything that is shared is something that you are ready to receive, know, and handle. So this is how, when I give an Akashic reading to someone and a past life is shared, and I'm like, this is really intense. And I can feel a spirit guide like taking me and saying, like, she's ready. It's okay. Because my kind of ego mind gets in the way, like, oh my God, I can see she's getting beaten, or that guy is getting tortured. And so they're like, it's okay. That person is ready to know about that situation. Now, when I'm translating all this, because it's more like not a transcription, but an interpretation, like when I channel. So of course I'm going to make a good choice of word. I'm not going to paint it as super gloomy, but if the person is ready to hear about a difficult past life, and I keep getting the same type of image, sometimes it's very specific. The guides are saying, yes, you can say that. That person is ready because she needs to learn about it to heal. Like if I never had that image of a knife in my stomach, would have I been able to put two and two or one and one together and realize that I have past lives where I have been attacked? And this is how it's affecting my IBS. It's one of the many sources. I have many different sources. So they're like, sometimes it can be beautiful, sometimes it can be tough, but all the time there are notions that you are ready to receive.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Wow. We could talk forever about this, but I think from both of us, to summarize, it would be to understand that there will be opposing opinions about the Akashic Records and the duality there. But yes, you can access your own Akashic Records. You have the ability. And I think point number 3 would be you'll learn more about the Akashic Records through your own exploration of them than you'll learn from anyone else.
Yes, because everyone's exploration is different. And also, sometimes we're hesitant to have our spiritual coming out.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very personal. And you can decide not to have a spiritual coming out. Or even if you did have a spiritual coming out, you can decide not to tell people that you go into your Akashic Records. That can stay something very personal to you.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Yeah, it can be just for you.
Yeah.
Thank you for listening to the Tea with Intuitives podcast.
If you have a question for us, you can send it at teawithintuitives@gmail.com or via Instagram or YouTube.
Your love for this podcast helps us grow and reach more like-minded souls, so don't forget to rate, review, and subscribe to this podcast.
Have a beautiful week.